Hey, Jeff, thanks for coming on the show today.
Hey, how are you? Thanks
I'm
for having
good.
me on.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I'm excited to have you. I appreciate
Yep.
you taking the time. I know that you guys stay pretty busy with your events, but I've been following Shale Energy for a couple years now and
Mhm.
really just excited to hear more about what you do and what the events you guys have going on this year.
Yeah, we've got a full schedule, 7 events over several different cities. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy year and got several here in the Permian. We got a couple over in East Texas, Oklahoma City, New Mexico. So, there's a lot going on for us for sure. We're staying busy with it.
Well, that's really exciting because it's a way that businesses and organizations and just people in the industry can get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do this for. The main goal is to put buyers and sellers together out in a space where they can get to know each other and do business with each other. So that's why we kind of put these things together. And the utmost important thing is to give back to the community.
Well, and then bringing everybody together for that common goal.
Mhm.
So there's the chance to talk business, getting people in the same space, having a good time, whether it's a trade show or a golf tournament or a clay shoot.
Mhm.
Everybody's coming together for that same interest, but then you have that common goal of giving back to the community. So it's there's a lot of incentive for people to come out and participate.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's out here working, trying to make a living, and sometimes a door gets opened by unique situations. And I think on a golf course is a great place for a door to open. I think shooting clays and trade shows. It's just a easy way for salesmen and procurement people and buyers to be in front of each other in a relaxed setting. I think a lot of the companies that we deal with need that and want that. And I think that's what makes this is so unique of a place. And
Now, did you start your events in the Permian Basin?
we did. Our first event was 7 years ago, the Tee Off for Bynum golf tournament. Yeah.
And did that idea come from, past experiences? You've been in events for a while and
Mhm.
kinda wanting to do it a little bit different or, just kinda having, like, your own way
Yeah.
of developing the events?
Yeah. I've been in the event business for a long time and just kind of saw a need for bigger and better. Not that the other events out here are bad, they're not. There's a lot of really good events that go on out here, and we just kind of wrapped our head around a unique platform and a way that we did it. And for me personally, the more people I can shove into an area is the better, and I get myself in trouble a lot because these facilities that we work with, the golf course or the clay shooting facility, well, they have a maximum amount of people that they really want out there. And I want more,
Right. Well, I'm sure there's more that would like to attend too.
yeah, I mean, we're turning people away at every event, seems like, and I hate doing that. It bothers me. But,
Yeah.
to stay out of trouble and just to stay, good with.
You wanna keep the owners of the
Yeah,
facility happy
yeah. I mean,
too.
we never want to come in and make a mess or create chaos, and that's kind of where we try to. I think our events are well organized. They're somewhat calm. We don't have a lot of trouble. We've never had issues with anything like that. So we're kind of proud of that. And I think companies that are sponsoring events look at that and hey, that's a well organized, well run event. We need to be a part of it. And I think we've prided ourselves on doing that.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's important. You know, the guests that I've had on in the past, we've talked about how business has been done over time and
Hmm.
the West Texas oil field, and it seems like it hasn't always been organized and structured. There hasn't been anywhere for people to go and come together unless it's a bar or
Yeah.
something like that. But to create an event that's in a professional setting, but you could there's an activity like golfing or clay
Hmm.
shooting, I think that that's probably something that a lot of people really appreciate that they have an opportunity to go to,
Hmm.
and they don't have to just go to after hours events, and because, then with the after hours, sometimes people, they're talking and, just saying stuff, you might not get anywhere
Right.
with that conversation. But if you're on a golf course and you're developing the relationship or you're able to take that time and
Hmm.
the camaraderie, and then again, like you said, it's, giving back to the community. So beyond the business side of it, you're able to then, write checks to different
Mhm.
organizations and help sustain the communities with their community outreach.
Sure. And that's the biggest thing is, going to a bar at night where you're drinking and you're acting up and, on a golf course or at a trade show, deals actually get done and real good ones. It's always exciting for me, when the golf tournament's over for one of our sponsors to come back and go, "Hey, we got 3 MSAs today. Thank you for doing this." And, what y'all are doing with the giving back to the community and all of that, it just makes it perfect. And you hear it a lot. A lot of really good deals get done through our events, and not just ours, other events as well. So I think it's a need. It's just always been a need, and I think the way companies do business now is a little different than the way it was 7 or 8 years ago. Um, but I think that events are still a big part of how these companies are structured and how they go about their day to day business.
Do you think that over time it's grown to where it's more the business as usual? People expect the events. They know that they're going on, and that they want to be a part of it. Like, I mean, people are sponsoring
Mhm.
events like this left and right. And so is it a good way for a company to get their name out there?
Absolutely, and I think that that's where I go back to our events are so big. You know, why would you not? So take the Bynum School Golf Tournament. We'll have probably 1,500, 2,000 people around throughout the course of the day. Why would you not want your company name out there in front of that? And it's actual buyers and sellers, and that's where we pride ourselves is we bring in actual people that can do business with one another to get a deal done for their company. The clay shoot in November, it's a unique animal in itself. It's kind of a three-part in one event type deal. Clay shoot during the day, cook off in the evening, concert to close out the day. 2 days now, and we may have 2 or 3,000 people out there. And to me, why that's the perfect place that doesn't cost you a lot of money for your company name to be everywhere. It's just perfect fit for me, and that maybe I see it a little different, but I just think that it's the perfect place for a company to be seen for sure.
Yeah, and I can see how as it evolves and grows, and like you said, throughout the day, you've got the actual clay shoot, a
Hmm.
cook off, like so. There's different ways that you can participate. So your employees can get involved, your company can be seen, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of different ways for people to come together to kind of make a statement
Sure.
about who they are, or putting themselves out there and trying to get those MSAs and
Hmm.
build those quality relationships. But it's not something that you can really put into words because you don't know what's going to happen. That's the nature of those
Hmm.
relationships happening organically.
Hmm.
You're facilitating an event where people can come together, and it's kind of up to them what they'd like to get out of
That's
it.
right. That's right. And I've always said it. You're going to get out of it what you put into it,
Mhm.
and you've gotta show up to do the event and not just be there to drink the beer or to, ride around the golf cart. You gotta be there and put in some work. The people are there. The buyers, the sellers, they're there. I mean, I can't hold your hand and say, "Hey, that's the guy." I try to help any way that I can, introduce people to one another, but at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to get out there and work the event and get the business. I mean,
Right.
when we bring that many people together, you can't come to me and say, "Hey, the event wasn't very good,"
Right.
you know? And I'm just gonna say, "Well, how did you work it?" That's the key thing is companies need to send the right people out to get the job done. And
Because it could be misconstrued, and I'm sure there are some people that just come and they say they went, and yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of
there's a
that.
lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's an art to networking
Mhm,
and developing business, and I feel like I've learned a lot even just since I've had my show, because I have had, several salespeople on, and
mhm,
everybody has a different take, but there are certain practices as far as, being on LinkedIn, being, visible on social media, going to these events,
mhm.
but actually actively building the relationships, because nothing's going to happen if you don't do the follow up, if you
Yeah,
don't shake their hand, if you don't know a little bit of backstory about who you're trying to do business with.
that's right.
And I mean, you might get lucky and have something fall in your lap. We always, we all get lucky like that every now and then.
Mhm.
But if you really want to build your book of business and build your company, you've got to be the one putting forth that effort.
That's it, and this business is not hard. It's about building relationships, and, even with what we do, I mean, some of our best friends now are customers. We travel with them, we go fishing with them, they're friends, and to me, that's how you build a business. You've gotta have those kind of relationships to really succeed, and the ones that really get there and hustle and do the job, you can see how well they've succeeded, and it's real evident. You can see it pretty clearly.
Well, and then, like, for you, like you said, you started off with the Bynum golf
Mhm.
tournament when you guys started. When did you start branching out into other areas?
Pretty quickly, we started with the Bynum tournament, and then, we added the Haynesville closer to home. That event took off because there was a big need for it there. There was some smaller stuff that goes on over there, and then there's a big cook-off every October, but there was really a need for a large event there. Oklahoma City's another area we've kind of been hammering away at for the last 2 or 3 years. New Mexico we added last year, and, I mean, it's sold out within a matter of, geez, weeks,
Wow.
there and again, you go over to Hobbs and they're like, "Man, we're so glad there's finally a big, good event for us to do. Come back every 6 months. Let's do it again," and that's an event that can really grow and we can do some unique things with and do some different things with and add on to the golf tournament. So we're kinda moving in that direction. So, yeah, we moved into other areas pretty quickly.
And were these are all oil and gas hubs?
Mhm.
So this is to support the oil and gas
Absolutely.
industry.
Absolutely.
So it's a the model that you've kind of built with,
Mhm.
it makes sense because you're looking at where there was a need,
Absolutely.
not just for the industry, but for the community and giving back, but you're able to really dial in
Mhm.
to the people.
Absolutely.
And so that it makes sense how it's grown because now it's like they're excited that you're coming into their areas and providing that quality service
Yep.
and knowing that your events are something they can count on.
Absolutely. And we're still looking to grow some more, down in South Texas. We've looked at maybe doing some stuff around the Houston area. Um, we don't want to get too far away, just, like Denver or North Dakota. Just logistically for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Um, Not that we couldn't, but we could do that. But it's just, we're so busy now with 7 events. If we added 1 or 2 more, it'd be a lot to handle.
Well, and just driving out here from Longview, you said it's a 7-hour drive.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of highway
Yeah,
time just coming over here.
it
Trying
is.
to go, like, North Dakota and Colorado would be a big stretch.
Yeah, but here recently, I've discovered flying from Longview to here, and I really
Oh,
enjoy
that's
that.
true. Yeah, that would be an upgrade for sure, save you
Yeah,
some time.
it cuts it in half. It's a lot easier on the mind and the body for sure. But
Right.
when we're here to put on events, we've got our trailer and our gear and everything to put the event on. So it's not a bad drive. It's good to get out and see the country a little bit.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's part of it too.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's something that you've gotta factor in though,
hmm
because you're not just going down the road and then you guys are here for about a week at a time.
yeah,
It's the setup and the actual putting on the event and then the breakdown of it.
yeah. It takes a good 5 6 days, and we've got a good team built that really understands what we do. And I think that helps with the events being so organized, is, everybody knows their job and they get that job done. And to me, it's imperative that the event be run smoothly.
Yeah, I agree. Just the attention to detail in that organization can set you apart.
Well, sure. I mean, when you have 1,500, 2,000 people running around, it's a lot to manage. And, parking's always an issue or trash is always an issue. And we typically have people on those things to keep a crisis from happening. So it's, and we work with some really good facilities, but, Hogan Park, Jake's Clays, the Horseshoe Arena, those are really good facilities that really know how to handle an event our size.
So your partnership, like, you guys are meeting each other halfway. You're
Yeah,
not having to
absolutely.
fight the facility to
Absolutely.
to make it a good event. Like, they're I invested in the quality of it same as you are.
Yeah, for sure, because they want people to come out and play golf on the weekends, and they want them to come out and shoot clays on the weekends, and
Has that been, like, a newer, development, the clay shooting?
no, I think it's always been a deal, and it's funny, like we were talking about before we came in, it's funny, there's a whole different group of people. You got your golfers, you got your shooters, and it's, some overlap, but most don't. You see a whole different group, and, for me, that's pretty neat just to see, there's so many people working out here. The guy that's out here shooting, he could care less if he's got a driver in his hand playing golf,
Right.
so it's
Well, and I know because I know more people that play golf, and they're very serious
oh, for sure.
about golfing, and, I mean, that's just I mean, of course, business development, but just in your free time.
Mhm,
But I've known a lot of hunters too, from a small town, a lot of people go hunting and, different seasons and
mhm.
but with clay shooting, that seems like it's just a sport all on its own.
It is, and it's a lot of fun. The guys come out, they really enjoy it. You can see the laughter and the just being, and maybe it's just being away from work, having a good time. But the guys that really do get into the shooting, they really love it. Just like the guys that golf. I mean, it's
You can see the passion,
yeah,
like, they're planning on the event, they're counting on it,
yeah.
and, they're anticipating it.
Oh, for sure. They look forward to it, and now we used to just sell the event by the event. Well, now anymore, we have so many companies. Hey, sign us up for all of them. Let's just get it done. And that's been really rewarding for us just to be able to work with the same group of people over and over and over. But again, it's just relationships. We have a great relationship with a lot of these folks, and if someone's new, they typically always come back. So that's always it's something to be proud of. And it's not always easy. I'm telling you, it's not always easy. My wife and I do it together, and there's some long ride home sometimes. Hey, this didn't get done. This happened. It's a juggling act, and
But you guys must complement each other, and you're a solid team as far as, being able to reflect on what worked and what didn't.
yeah, I typically oversell it and hand it off to Miranda and Allie and let them clean it up.
And they're about the organization and the detail
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I try to stay out of that stuff now. I mean, it's like I tell them all the time. It's my job to get people here. It's your job to do the rest.
yeah, well, everybody's, got their role,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's definitely a big ship, there's
Oh,
gotta
for
be a
sure.
lot of different people doing different stuff. It's all important
Hmm.
for it to be that level of success, to be
Yeah.
able to grow, and you don't just do, events for the general public, you also do, private events for
Hmm.
for for companies when they're maybe a grand opening.
Yeah, we brought that on last year, um, doing that type of thing and doing social media advertising for companies and doing grand openings and parties and you name it. I mean, if it's something that is an event, we can do it, and I
So
think
did
the
that
girls do it really well.
did that just happen naturally, or was there someone that inquired
Yeah,
about
well, you had a legacy safety and consulting reached out last year and just said, "Hey, we want to." We invested in this brand new state of the art building, and we want to have a big grand opening. And we went out, met with them, looked at it, and put our heads together and put up a plan. And it come out good. And actually, it was good enough. They're bringing us back to do another one down in Pleasanton, I think. So it's again, it's the girls are really good at that type of thing. They're Allie and Miranda. They think a lot alike when it comes to decorating and the ins and outs of that. I try to stay out of it just because it's not my deal, but it's my deal to go get that work for them and let them put their minds together to do it the way they do it. And I think people have noticed how well they do it. And because we've had some other calls about some certain things doing private events that maybe have not come to fruition yet, but probably will. So people have noticed it.
Yeah, I absolutely have. I mean, that whenever you see Shale Energy on an event, it's gonna be a good event. Like,
Hmm.
you're not questioning it, and it's exciting to see all that detail and really the attention that the Permian Basin maybe hasn't always had, like the hyper focus on the quality detail
Hmm.
and people coming into that environment to do quality business.
Yeah.
It's very subtle, but you can feel that difference when you come together in a really positive environment, that there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes, and then you kind of take the reins yourself as a salesperson
Hmm.
or just attending the event. You also want to contribute to that quality.
Absolutely. And for me, it's when we show up to do an event, it's always fun to see the excitement around it. The weeks leading up to it, even afterwards, when people are posting their pictures and their
Yeah.
videos, and it's just really fun and rewarding to see that one. we did a good job. 2, people had a good time. Or 3, they got some work from the event. And a lot of detail does go into these things. I mean, it just doesn't show up and pop up and here we go. It just doesn't work that
It's not
way.
a fly by night.
Absolutely not. We start planning these events, and as soon as the clay shoot's over in November, we're planning for the next year. And you got to get your calendar set. You got to get facilities booked, and there's just a lot that goes into it. It's a lot more than a lot of people think. Especially our smaller events like Oklahoma City. I mean, we can put that thing on in our sleep, but these events out here, they're just so big and so much that goes into it, so many details that it takes several months just to plan it and to be able to make it run smoothly. It's kind of a unique deal.
Oh, it's very unique, and it seems like it's grown and you
Mhm,
branching out a little bit. You get to try new things because it's a well-oiled machine.
mhm.
You know what you're doing. You know who you're working with, and you already have that built. So then
Yeah.
able to do the private parties and the social media marketing and things like that. You're just able to expand and kind of pick up new customers, new relationships.
Yeah, and we're always looking to expand and grow. I've always been told if you're not growing, you're dying. And
Yeah.
it's but right now, I mean, we're almost tapped out, without adding several more employees and really looking at other markets, Houston or North Dakota or somewhere like that, we're tapped out. I mean, our events are as big as they can be right now. And so we're looking at adding multiple days possibly or doing some smaller events throughout the year to where, we do 3 big ones here and then we do a couple of smaller ones, throughout the year to because we want everybody to be involved. And, like I said, we're turning people away that can't be involved. And I mean, I lose sleep over that because I want as many people there that want to be involved that they have the ability to. And, sometimes my hands are just tied on that. But,
Right.
um, it's a good problem to have. We've just grown to the point of being maxed out almost, so that's a good thing. We're proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a good problem to have, something to be proud of. But then, like you said, you want to find a solution to that.
Mhm.
What's next? I mean, obviously, it's growing and people want more, but you have to do what's right for you and what makes sense
Yeah, and
logistically. And
you never really wanna take advantage of companies either, I mean, you can only go to the well so many times,
mm,
and we try to be mindful of that and not beat people over the head all year long. We got a spring event, a summer event, a fall event, and, so that's why we started really branching out into New Mexico, which is close enough to here, there's a lot of overlap. Um,
mhm.
but then again, anymore, we sign up so many companies that do every event. I mean, it's crazy, honestly. It's
Right.
wild.
Do you have a favorite event?
I do. The clay shoot's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because it's so unique with 3 events basically in one, and there's so many people, and we bring in good music, and everybody's just kind of winding down the year. It's kind of like it's just that last gasp of okay, that's over. Now let's get into the holidays and get ready for the next year.
Yeah.
And it's probably my favorite event.
I could see that in the timing of it, like,
Yeah,
really, proud of what you've accomplished, you've worked hard all year, cut loose, get ready to celebrate some more,
yeah,
kinda like the kickoff party to the holiday
it
season.
is. And it's grown, man. It's grown. Like I said, we've added a second day last year, and we're doing 2 days this year. So that in itself is kind of a challenge right now, just to figure out, how can we have everybody involved for 2 days instead of just shooters out on the course.
Mm.
We want to have something for them to do when they get back. And doing this music stuff that we do, these concerts with some of our events, it's expensive. And it seems like since COVID, it's gotten even more expensive, and but we always want to have that aspect of the event. I think people have gotten used to it and they look forward to, hey, who's playing the clay shoot this year?
Right, I could see that that's gonna grow
Mhm.
and continue, like, who can you get or who's
Yeah.
available or
Yeah. Last year we had Treaty Oak Revival. Those guys are from here and their
Mhm.
music has just blown up,
Yeah.
since the clay shoot. We've seen them a couple of times at other places and it's amazing to see what those guys have done. But, and again, you look back on it and you go, hey, maybe we were a small part of what they were actually doing. And,
Yeah.
like I said, we've seen them and met with them a couple of times since then, and they were like, "Hey, man, we want to come back," you
Oh,
know.
that's awesome.
So it's good. We love that event. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, a lot of setup time, a lot of tear down time, but it's really unique. You know, the thing goes up in one day, and it all comes down and is tore down and gone in the same day, like we were never there. And I've had people tell me, "I don't know how y'all do that." Well, you got good people that don't mind working, you can accomplish a lot, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. This year, we did have to go back on Friday to clean up a little bit, but it was just, it got late, we were tired, and I said, "Dang, no, we'll go back tomorrow."
Yeah.
So, most of the time, we can set it up and do it in one day, we've gotten it down to an art, kinda.
No, that's what it sounds like. I mean, with all of it across the board, like you have your system down, you've got your people, and when you have the right relationships and you have that experience that you've been in events for a long time, like
Mhm.
you know what works and what doesn't.
Sure.
So you've been able to suss out what you don't need, or different ways that didn't work out the way you thought they would. And so now you get to come out and put on these events and let them grow and let people come out and be a part of it. And
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of it too helps that it's a lot of the same companies at each event, and they're used to us the way we do it. We're used to them how they do it, and it helps. The newer companies that come on board, it takes them a little bit to go, hey, we can do that or we can't do that, because there's rules here in at some of these facilities. It's you have to. It's not that we're making those rules. These facilities have the way that they want things done.
right.
So a lot of times they have to learn and get comfortable with, okay, I know I can't do that. And we always have one or two that just didn't know, so we kind of have to make sure that they know next time. And I don't think that we've had any kind of issues other than just not knowing, and we always try to respect the facilities that we're at and follow their rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of it.
Hmm.
And you gotta know like the ground rules. And then you have the sponsors come in and you have the participants come in, and
Hmm.
then all of this goes back to giving to a different charity.
Absolutely. We first started this 7 years ago. We met the Bynum School, and I mean, for anybody watching, it's worth a trip out there to set up a meeting with Tracy and her team and just tour the facility, see what they do with those kids, because it's truly amazing that they can have 100 plus kids with special needs, not just kids, adults too. With the facility is state of the art. It's clean. It's always well organized. Kids are walking down the hall and they're smiling and they're having a good time being a part of something. And when we met those guys, like I said, 7 years ago, when we first started doing events, we first and foremost said we will always give back to the community from our event, and we've always done that. And we were introduced to the Bynum School, and we've met several other nonprofits here locally that we've done stuff with, but Bynum School just really touched us to the point of, okay, that's our main one. And for 7 straight years now, we've been giving lots of money to them, and they're very thankful for it because they operate only on grants, tuition, and fundraising. And it takes a lot to run a state of the art facility with that many children. So, um, highly recommend if you're looking to support an organization or looking to donate some money somewhere, go see those guys out there because they really could use all the help they can get.
Well, and that's inspiring to know that like you can see over the course of time that the fundraising that you've done, they are using it wisely. They're using it for the facility.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you don't know if you don't know an organization, you can donate money and you don't know what those funds are allocated for.
That's right.
But you could, like you said, you can tell with kids smiling walking down the hall and the growth of the facility that they're very invested in the quality.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we met them 7 years ago, the facility they were in it was amazing in itself, but to see where they were then to where they are now, it just mind blowing. State of the art facilities, and there's something there for each child. Seems like, and that's what's really impressive to me is you've got all these kids, and there's something unique there for each one of them. And so, yeah, I mean, you see that the money you're raising and the work that you're doing is being used and being used wisely, and definitely much appreciated and needed. So that's been rewarding for us for sure.
That seems like that'd be very rewarding and a complementary relationship.
Mhm,
You come, you put on this event, people can do business, they're making deals, they're giving back, you're able to give back,
mhm.
and so it all ends with that same common goal.
Absolutely. We can show up out there unannounced and go in and talk with Tracy for a little bit, walk down the halls, and the kids are high fiving you and they're hugging you. And, they've got several kids that we've met when they were in junior high that have gone on and graduated, now work here in the community. And, we've been around those kids and gotten to be friends with their families. And it's just been a unique relationship, honestly, and one that I'm very proud of. And just like I said, when those kids come, they'll have them out at the golf tournaments. They'll bring them out to the clay shoots.
So they get to participate in the events
Absolutely.
as well.
Usually at the golf tournament, they'll have 3 or 4 teams, and it's really cool to see them. Tell a funny story. One of the kids, he was one of the ones from junior high up, and the first golf tournament that they were coming to, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go buy all 4 of them a new driver. Now, obviously, I didn't go buy them a high dollar driver, but I went and bought them a decent driver for them to use. Well, about halfway through their round, this one comes up to me and he's got this look of just, he's disgusted.
Oh,
Well, he's buried his driver in the ground and snapped the head off of it. And it wasn't that he was more upset that I'd bought him a new driver and he broke it than so
mhm.
I said, "It's okay, man. I'll get you another one." So I went inside and bought him another one. It wasn't 30 minutes. Here he come back. He done broke another one. I said, "Okay, I'll get this one fixed." And it went on for about 2, 3 years. He'd come, "Where's that driver? Where's that driver?" And every year I'd give him a new one. And I still talk to his mother now. She's actually one of our customers, and she said, "Jeff, he always still asks about that driver that you give him." And he's one of our good ones. He still comes out to the events. He's graduated, works here in town at a tire shop, and she always brings him out still to this day. So it's always good to see him and catch up with him. And that's the kind of relationship we have with him.
Well, and you've made a mark on him, and that's something that has
Mhm.
stayed with him.
Absolutely. He'll come out to the clay shoot and he wants to work. And if I don't keep him busy, he gets irritated. He's like, "Hey, I need something to do." And it's always good to have him there. He's a nut. So
Well, that's awesome, and that's cool that you have those
Mhm.
opportunities. I mean, for these guys to thrive, like even outside the school, like that they get to come and participate in the events and
Oh, it's and our golfers and stuff, they love seeing those kids out there. And they just run around high fiving each other and they have a great time. Now, it gets to be a lot for them. It's about half a day. They're kind of over it, ready to go. But
Mhm.
when they are there and they're active and having fun, it's just really fun to watch them, and it'll put a smile on your face. So, and again, anybody that is looking for somewhere or something to support, that's one of the best facilities I've ever seen.
That is exciting. It's inspiring to know that that's here.
Absolutely, because there's a big need for it. I mean, there's over 100 kids there, and the teachers are so good with so much different things, and it's not just the thing that's amazing to me is it's anywhere from autism to Down syndrome. There's so much difference in each one of those kids, and they all have their own different needs, and they're able to provide each of those different needs. It's just really amazing to me to just see it, because I've never really been around or seen a facility like that before. And when we met them back then, it was just wow. And that's how do they do that? And the more we get to know them, now we know how they do it, and it's really impressive to see. Honestly, it'll touch you. If it doesn't, something's wrong with you.
Right.
you know.
No, it sounds amazing because you can even look at just like public school.
Mhm.
There's too many kids in the classes. There's not enough of that one-on-one time. Students may have that might be slower at reading or they've struggled with math, but they might just get passed along
Mhm.
because there's not enough going into each individual student. And it's hard because if you get classes that are overcrowded or there isn't the a teacher with those nuances to know how to work with
Sure.
kids with unique talents or skills or needs. And so to have a school that's devoted to just special needs, but the spectrum can go from one end to the other,
Yeah,
and that not only are they there doing well, they're thriving.
absolutely.
They're creating, like I think that you and Miranda had said before about what do they want to be when they grow up, and if they come up with something that they're not necessarily going to be able to do, the school helps them find something similar, so
Absolutely.
they get that life experience.
There's several that have graduated and gone on and are employees here in town, and they're driving, they have their driver's license, and they do really well. And kids with those types of needs, they should be able to have that opportunity, in my opinion. They should be able to, if they're able, get out and get a job and work and kinda see what it's like to take care of themselves a little bit. And I think it's a great thing. Obviously, some are not able to do that, but the ones that are, I think it's a really neat concept that companies here in town are willing to hire them and to put them to work and to make sure they're okay throughout the day. And I think it's just a cool thing. It's really it's just really fun to watch,
Yeah,
honestly.
and to be a part of it and to be able to contribute to
Yeah.
year after year to that quality at the school.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we do it. And we're proud of the dollars that we've raised and given to those folks, and it's only going to get bigger and better. And as far as I'm concerned, we're always going to do that, and it's uh, it's rewarding. Honestly, it really is.
Well, and I'm sure that with all the work that goes into it, being able to end on a note like that, knowing that the work that you've put in doesn't just end that day, and it's not even it's I mean, and then the business relationships that get made are great because the community can thrive with doing good business with each other,
Hmm.
but then also being able to give in the community
Sure.
and promote that type of event and giving
Yeah.
where you're people are able to contribute.
Yeah, and it's not just Bynum School that we support. We've done a lot with Oil Patch Kids, Oilfield Helping Hands. Some of the other local nonprofits we've done some stuff with. We've had some companies reach out to us for with employees that need help with certain things, or hey, we got a friend that's got something going on that needs help. And we've always done really well with just spur of the moment. Hey, this person needs some help. What can you do? Well, let's do this and raise and give to that person in need a lot of money. And we couldn't do that, I don't think, without good, solid relationships. And, we've got certain people that we can always go to and say, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's needed. Can you help us? They always say, yes, let's do it.
And the sustainability of the oil and gas industry
Hmm.
that I mean, it's a profitable industry,
Hmm.
and to be able to use that success to give to those that are in need or charities that to help them run and to be more organized or structured or whatever's needed
Oh, I
like
don't,
you're
I don't think there's any other way to do it. I think that, this area has prospered so much. There's so many in need. And to me, the companies that are here have done a wonderful job taking care of those in need. And you see it every day, and it's just mind boggling to me to watch it. Your big operators donating thousands of dollars to something, and a big service company donating thousands of dollars to something in need. It's just really miraculous to watch how giving this industry is. And I think the industry takes a bad rap for a lot of things, but when you're in it and you see the good that it actually does, I mean, it makes no sense to me for people to bash it. And
Well, I think that's what a lot of the outside world isn't seeing.
mhm,
They don't know that like the money that's donated, they're not as familiar with the events where there's money raised and the checks are written. Like
mhm,
they just see that same narrative of the oil and gas industries polluting the earth and
yeah,
just all they care about is money. But the thing is the oil and gas industry makes money.
mhm,
What you do with that money is what's going to make or break our our society.
Sure.
But what the oil and gas industry is doing is lifting the society up,
Mhm.
the individuals that can thrive and do more. Whereas the narrative, the social narrative is tearing it down. But I think there's a lack of understanding of how things are really how things function
Yeah.
within the
If
industry.
you've not been here and been in the middle of it, you have no way of knowing.
Right.
And it's everybody should come here once, just to see how this place operates. It's truly amazing. And when I first started coming out here, there wasn't a lot here. There wasn't a lot of people here, and it's grown so much over just the last 7, 8 years. It's crazy.
I agree with that because I first came out here 7, 8 years ago as well, and it was very, very scarce resources
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. It wasn't developed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is the Wild West. Like you go out past Midland, Odessa, there's not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hundreds of miles. Like you're just in this very desolate
Sure.
area with patches of, rigs and facilities here and there. But now it seems like things have grown around that. The quality has
Mm-hmm.
improved. I mean, I've talked to workers in the field, and there's a lot more available.
Mm-hmm.
But then also what the industry is trying to represent,
Sure.
and not just be a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
Where there are those out there that they are just they're in it for the quick dollar. But
Mm-hmm.
people that have really built these sustainable businesses, I'm sure a lot that are the ones that donate to the Bynum School and different charities, Oilfield Helping Hands, but, members of these organizations just really keeping that lifeblood
Mm-hmm.
growing to where this is more the social norm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not so much about that the oil and gas industry takes because there's so much giving back that kind of drowns out that old narrative.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that 100%. The city here's done a wonderful job to me, just developing and growing as quickly as it has. And, I know there's still probably a big need for more infrastructure and all that, but, the city of Midland, I think, has done a wonderful job of, you know, growing as quickly as they did.
Yeah, you can see a lot of it coming
For
together.
sure.
Road construction's a battle, but that's the sign of growth
Well,
too.
it's all over the country.
Yeah, and
Everywhere you go, there's
it
road
is what it
construction.
is. It's part of it, but there's jobs for people. There's some job security there,
Hmm.
and doing road construction and infrastructure
Yeah.
and just contributing. Like whereas you're focused on the events and the community bringing people
Yeah,
together.
we're just a small part of what goes on.
But you're such a big part of it because everybody can come and be a part of it, and
Yeah.
so that's really great to have something where you can unify and people can come together with those common interests and goals.
Yeah. And that's what we kind of want our events to be, almost a celebration, and just a good time to relax. But at the end of the day, for me, it's still about getting the work. And, yeah, you can have a good time and yeah, you need to be at the event. But at the end of the day, it's about, is it valuable?
It
You know,
has to serve a purpose. I
absolutely.
agree because I mean you can go and have the best time and put some energy out there, but if
Yeah.
you're not walking away with something that's going to pay dividends or have something built out, then it's just the event.
Yeah.
Whereas the event can create the ripple effect that can be ongoing.
Hmm.
And then, people are getting together because there are smaller events. There's the monthly luncheons that
Hmm.
happen and things like that. And the more successful those are, like it's like an ecosystem. It's just continuously feeding into that same reservoir
Yeah.
to where we're becoming something better. But as long as everybody contributes, and like you said, you've got to show up and do the work
Hmm.
and create the relationships.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, we have a good mixture of salespeople, business development, marketing. I like dealing with the CEOs. When they're at our events and I get to really sit down and talk to those guys and they pat you on the back, you did it right, because it's their money.
Right.
It's not the sales guy's money, it's his money. And when he comes to you and say, "Hey, this was a great event. Sign us up next year. Sign us up for the next one." You did it right. And always go to those people. I've got a lot of friends here that are sales guys, and but I also have a lot of friends here that are owners. And to hear the owner say you did good, that's always rewarding for us.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be rewarding and then also motivating to
Hmm.
do the next
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, you always want to make it better. And then we're not perfect. We'll always have a hiccup. I mean, we usually try to keep it behind the scenes, but there's always something that goes wrong, and you just fix it and move on. And that's
Right.
I think that's where our team comes in. We're able to keep it behind the scenes, and no one knows it ever happened. And it's that goes back to Miranda and Allie really complementing each other, working well together, really understanding I'm doing this, she's doing this, and they do it really well. So, I make the mess and they clean it up. So they do a really good job with it.
Well, and then so everybody complements each other,
Yeah.
and so it goes like your team, it's the same way as the participants that come out to the event,
Mhm.
the owners that are donating the money, the charities that you donate the money to, and I mean, so on and so forth. Like, it just that ripple just has no end to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, they just soon me stay in Longview once it's time for the event to happen. I get in the way, and usually I'll just get on the golf cart and I'll go visit with my friends.
Yeah, well, no, that's a good thing, and I'm sure, like, they can take it from there,
Oh
as
yeah,
you're working.
Allie will tell you as soon as I show up, something's going wrong, and again, it makes for some long ride homes at times, but for the most part, we're
Yeah.
we're good. We don't have much issue.
You're a great team, and you guys are doing a lot of good things for the community,
Yeah,
and, I mean, sounds like you're not slowing down, and there's a lot to come for Shale Energy in the future.
I hope so. We're gonna keep hammering our way at it and trying to provide the best events we can for the industry.
Well, I don't doubt it, Jeff. I appreciate you coming on the
You
show
bet.
today and talking about it and everything you guys are doing for the community.
Hey, you too, man. This podcast world's a new thing for me, so
Hey, it's still pretty new, I think, for everybody,
yeah, and I'll
so
tell you, this is way out of my comfort zone. Most people tell you that guy don't like talking to people.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you did good, and I'm so glad that you came
Well,
and
yeah,
shared, and then everybody kinda gets a little bit more idea of what you guys do with Shale and what they can do to be a part of it and kinda getting to see the behind the scenes.
sure. Thank you for having us here, and we really have enjoyed the visit. And however we can help you, just let us know. That's
Well,
what we're here for.
I appreciate it, I believe it. Thanks again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.